Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jide. I'm a Nigerian Canadian. I immigrated to Canada some years ago, and I made up in my mind that I am not going to be stuck in the Canadian financial system. I took it upon myself to learn about finance, personal finance, investing, taxes, different savings account, checkings account in Canada, because I literally want to take my financial future into my hands. I don't want to leave my future, my financial future into the hand of the government or to the hand of my employer. I really want to be in control. And if this is your goal, I want you to stay with me because in today's video, I want to be talking about how you can build wealth in Canada through stock market. And if you are new to Canada, this video will be of benefit to you. Or probably you're in Canada for a while now, and it seems like Canada is winning against you. I understand the feeling. It can be overwhelming, okay? Coming to a new system that's quite different from where you grew up. Or probably you grew up in Canada, but you are not taught in school, or you didn't grow up in a family that paid attention to finances. But here you are an adult, and it seems like you are regretting being an adult. I understand the feeling, but it doesn't have to continue that way. This video is one of my way of opening your eyes to see what you can do to literally be in control of your life. I really want to make this video as explicit as possible and to communicate the necessity of why, or let me say, the importance of knowing what to do with your finance and getting it done immediately. Regardless of how old you are, it's never too late to start doing the right thing. But I believe that it is until we actually get informed or make informed decision, that's when we can start doing the right thing. I remember, like before I immigrated to Canada, I wish I had information on immigration, on how to immigrate from my country to Canada. I didn't just immigrate to Canada for just for the fun of it. It was strategic move. I really want a new challenge. I really want a situation, a society that gives me the opportunity to learn how things really work. And I really want to develop myself and be a valuable. It's not until I immigrated to Canada that I started doing content like this to make financial education as clear, as understandable as possible. So stay with me. Is it possible to build wealth in Canada through stock market? I am on a journey to building wealth. I am on a journey to building passive income through stock market investing. And I know people that have been investing in stock market for over 10 years, over 20 years, okay, that have really proven and give credence to the fact that stock market can be invested, especially if you have acquired knowledge over the years by investing, by actually doing this, and you are beginning to see return on your investment. You begin to get dividends monthly or quarterly, as the case may be, depending on the stock you have in your portfolio. If you currently earn dividend income like I do, you will need less motivation to get started managing your finance for personal finance, because each dropping of dividends you get monthly is enough motivation to keep you going. So, with that being said, let's dive in into this video. I want to show you a 10-year guide to consistent investing for you as a Canadian if you are new. And if you are not new, I'm sure this video will also be a benefit to you. So, uh, one thing is that things will remain the same until you make decision to change it. Okay? So, and when it comes to finance, you need to make that change. That change is very important. So, your financial journey starts when you make up your mind. Yeah, you definitely need to make up your mind. There is a financial freedom and it is possible. Okay? So how do we build this financial freedom? We build it, okay, as a long-term security, okay, in our personal lives. Okay, it's a long-term security in our personal life. So in today's learning, we want to talk about investment basics, the global options, and the long-term benefits of uh, investing. So let's go on. Why should we bother about investing, guys? Why take the pain to invest? Yeah, I come from a country where investment scams happen from time to time. And a deep dive into that tells me uh, about the nature of my country, of the country I come from. I come from Nigeria. We are passionate about our future. We literally want to take our future into our hand. We don't want to leave things into our chance. So we have the natural tendency to jump on every opportunity to invest for the future. However, that is not enough. The desire to invest is not enough. So many people fall into scam, okay, while trying to make investments, not because they want to fall a victim of the scam, but because they actually have a desire, okay, to invest without having the right knowledge to invest. Having the desire to invest is not enough. You must also be well equipped. You must also be well grounded. You must also have the right knowledge to invest in your invest your finances. So over time, inflation eats deep into your cash value. Okay, so inflation erodes our purchasing power over time. So wherever you are, so I believe if you are watching this, you're probably in Canada or in US or in North America. You may even be in Africa. Wherever you are, there is inflation. So each salary you earn, each wage you earn, okay, is already been eaten up by inflation. Inflation could range from as low as 2% to as high as 30%. Okay, could be as high as 35% in some countries. So inflation is everywhere. As long as you are living in any of the countries of the world, you are exposed to inflation. There is nothing you can do about it. These are things that we cannot do about. Inflation will eat into the value of our money over time. Should we panic? No. What can we do? Now, here is where our responsibility lies. We cannot control inflation, but we can control our finances. That's the essence of this video. Like how we literally can take our finance to our hand, that we are not at the mercy of the things we cannot control. Secondly, if you consider average return on savings account in most banks, it is not usually more than 2%. Okay, so how much is 2%, okay, per annum on your money when inflation is growing at a significant rate in the range of 10%, 15% in some countries, or even 30%, like I said earlier on? Okay, what is the of course, having your money in a savings account is better than not having savings at all. Man, don't get me wrong. Having your money in a 2% savings account is not bad. Yeah. But why should you settle for what is good when you can have something that is best? That's the essence of this video. So this video is to challenge you from not saving to having a saving, and not just a saving, but doing something significant with your money that gets you a higher return with a well balanced risk. It is one thing to seek investment, it's another thing not to pay attention to the risk profile of the investment. So while we are saying there's a better return on investment than having your money sit down in your savings account, you must also be careful of putting your money or your funds in a high risk investment that blows away your money, that makes you lose the money altogether. Okay, so we have looked at the cash value of money over time. the cash value, the purchasing power of your money decreases significantly over time, such that $10,000 20 years ago is of less value today if you compare it to what it can buy today compared to what it could buy 10 years ago. Okay, a $30,000 could down payment was significant 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now put you can hardly get a property that you can put $30,000 as a down payment. Okay, values of property are significantly increased. Value of cars have increased. So many things have increased. So what the value of money can get, has decreased over time. Okay, money that is not invested will decrease over time. There's nothing you can do about it. Savings account yield just enough to keep your money in the bank. Why? Because the bank is also for profit. Banks are not charitable organizations, they are not governmental organizations, they are businesses, okay, that is running to pay its shareholders and its investors. Okay, so you don't really can blame banks because banks are in the business for profiting. Hence, the moderate percentage on your savings. Get it? What about stock returns? If you invest in stock market, you get an average of 7 to 10% on the long term. Okay? That seems much more better than having your money sit down in a savings account that's not giving you more than 2%. Yeah. Okay? So, but what are these investments? That is the goal of this video. That is safe, not too risky, but also giving you a high return over a period of 10 years. Like as an example in this video. The beauty of having your money invested is having your money work for you while you are studying. Like I always say on my videos, that while shooting this video, my money is working for me. And if you have already invested your money is also working for you. But what's about that feeling? Aside the fact that I get dividend paid into my account every month, I just received some dividend from some stock, some ETF I received this month of May. Okay, I received an alert from Wet Simple broker about the investment that I made. I got some uh, dividend alert. Dividend dropping to my account gives me some feeling of achievement, which uh, keeps me motivated, keeps me investing. So aside the fact that I get the feeling of making advancement towards my goal, I also get to have my money work for me. I read the book Richest Man in Babylon some years ago. That book changed my mindset. Even though 15 years ago that I read the book, or 10 years ago thereabout, I only read it for information. But it is until I relocated to Canada, I now started to rethink about that book on how I can actually practice that book. So that I'm sure the same it is with so many of us. We read books, but we actually don't put those principles into action. So I got to think about it that I can actually put my money into work. My money gives birth to my to key children, like children in code, and the children gives birth to children. So my money works for me to bring more money, and the more money that is brought also goes to work to bring more money. So we kind of have a compounding power, okay, being put to work over our finances over a period of time. Okay, like I said, like the Bible said, the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. Like it works magic. How can you begin to leverage the power of compounding on your finance to be able to beat the inflation that is eating away your finance? It is now time to take back your power. It is now time to take back what belongs to you that inflation is eating away. now time to take back what belongs to you and make sure you are actually planning the future that you uh that you desire. There's power in consistency. In one of my videos, I said, how many of you have been consistently going to work for the past 10 years and 15 years? And then my next question, how many of you have been consistently making your money work for you? I'm very sure a large percentage of us have been consistently going to work for more than 10 years and 15 years. But how many of us have consistently built our finances as much as we have built somebody else's businesses by going to work every day? So we're in the time now that going to work is not going to be enough strategy. We need to start switching strategy from the passive strategy of going to work to the active strategy of actively, consistently managing our finances and ensuring that it's growing faster than inflation is eating it away. Inflation is eating our cash away. Rising cost of living, rising cost of childcare, rising cost of housing. These are the realities that we are being faced with today. What should we do? Should we commit suicide and just give up, or should we just take it as something that we have no power about? No, I believe strongly that a well-informed man will transform his life and his situation when he begins to take action on what he knows. You already know enough to start transforming your finances. If I've watched this video up till now, there's something in you that is seeking for a change and wants a transformation. So this video can be the turning point of your life. So there's power in consistency, as you've seen on the video on my slide. If you have contributed $200 monthly for 10 years, you have contributed $24,000. Assuming a modest return of the stock market, let's just take 8%. But S&P 500 performs more than 8%. Let's just say 8% by the time we deduct the expense fee, the commission charged by platforms, and every other thing, and factor in inflation as well. Let's assume you have 8% return on your $24,000 that you have saved over the period of time. You would have $36,000. Okay, that is 50% more than what you have invested. You have been able to leverage the power of consistency, self-discipline, and compound interest on your money. Okay, so let's assume you are able to get 10% return. You'll be having $39,000 at the end of 10 years. Okay, which is cool, which is much more like 60%, 55% to 60% of what you have invested. Okay, you didn't work for this money, your money worked for it. Your money worked for it. Over the period of years, you are able to employ your money to work for you, and your money produce money. The money your money produce more money for you. That is compound interest over the period of 10 years. What if you double this amount that you invested monthly over the next period, over a period of 10 years? Probably you invested $400 monthly every month for the next 10 years in, say, S&P 500 or in Canadian ETF, high growth ETF, or high dividend paying ETF. You probably will get it times two of these numbers. So now we see that it's not really that we don't have money to invest. It is not lack of money that's keeping most of us from investing. It is not seeing the bigger picture. What I am doing in this video is to paint the bigger picture for you. If you are like me, I don't take decision until I see the bigger picture why I need to take a decision. If you tell me to do something from tomorrow to today to tomorrow, I will not take a decision until I'm personally convinced of why I need to take the decision. This video may be a convincing reason why you need to see the bigger picture of why you need to save. You will not just see your $50 as on or $100 as just $50, $100. See multiple $50, $100 working as employee in your investment account, making more money for you. Okay, how beautiful would that be? Seeing those $50 bills, $100 bills that you could easily spend on coffee, on eating out, being harnessed and working for you. Okay, it's really it's really awesome. Now, what are the investment options that is even available that we can that can become a vehicle for us to take off from where we are financially to where we need to be in the next 10 years? We have US equities, Canadian equities, and international equities. In US equities, technology giants and innovative leaders like Apple's, Microsoft, and Amazon. These guys are the largest capitalized companies, or the largest company by capitalization in the US. In fact, their capitalization is more than the GDP of certain uh, countries in the world. That's how big these guys are. Apple is part of our everyday life. Microsoft product is part of our everyday life. Amazon is part of our everyday life. We use Apple iPhones, iPads. We use Microsoft softwares. As I am speaking with you now, my laptop is operating on Windows, Windows from Microsoft. Okay, Amazon is part of our everyday. It's a giant. So if you look at this closely, you will see that the investment option is about companies with business use cases. This will differentiate it from scams that is being marketed to people these days as investment. If the investment being marketed to you is not into a company that does real product, that sells real product or services that you have used or that you have seen people used, most probably is a scam. If an investment is not into a real business that is doing real product or real service that is widely used, okay, even by corporate entities and by individuals, you should not invest it. So in US equities, you will find technology giants. These guys invest a lot into research and development to innovate new products, okay, to that would make life of an average person better. So products like that will always attract capitals, will always attract value. Okay. The more value people see in a particular company, the more investment it attracts, and the more the value of the company increases, the value of their share. So if you position yourself in one of these US equities in US stocks, okay, over time, their value increases, and the money you put into that stock increases in value as well. You don't see them folding. You don't see those companies folding anytime soon. You don't see them being taken down by a competitor anytime soon. Warren Buffett called these companies with economic moat, MOAT. They have a strong economic moat that is difficult to replicate. So no company can easily replicate what these guys are doing. And we have the likes of Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix in US. What about Canadian equities? The five big banks in Canada are no-brainer. You cannot miss it. When you talk about Canadian stocks that are doing so well, making Canadians wealthy, making investors wealthier. Okay, you cannot miss the likes of RBC, TD Bank, uh, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia. Okay, BMO. You cannot miss those banks. Okay, and in the energy sector, you cannot miss the likes of Canadian Natural Resources, Enbridge. Okay, you cannot miss those guys. And then Shopify. Shopify is a Canadian company that is, I talked about Shopify in one of my videos recently as one of the companies that will likely become as big as Amazon in the next 10 years. I probably am going to link the video in the comments below, in the comment section below for you to watch that video. What about international equities? Okay, like moving away from US and Canada now, we have global opportunities in companies that are global, that are in international space, like Nestle, Toyota, Japan, and Samsung. Okay, so now what are the investing in American innovation? What does it look like? Okay, what does it look like? American companies, American stock market is the most liquid trading environment in the world. New York Stock Exchange, for example, Nasdaq 100, Dow Jones 30. This market are the most liquid market. You are looking at investing into a market that gives you a high yield over a period of time while also providing a, a well managed risk, or let me say, also minimizing the risk to investment. You are looking at, this is my thinking. When I look at investing, I look at where I can get the highest value at the lowest risk. Highest value at the lowest risk. Highest value at the lowest risk. That is investing. And at the same time, you're also looking at the you're looking at the exit, your exit strategy. Perhaps probably you tend to sell an overperforming stock to buy another to buy another stock. Okay, you want to adjust your stock position. How you are quickly able to sell your assets for funds, what we refer to as liquid. Okay, so American stock market is the most liquid. You can easily turn your assets, your stock into funds. Probably you need to sell off your stock. Your stock has appreciated enough. You want to sell it, rather to take the money out or to invest in another stock. American market provides the easier liquidation uh, liquid environment to get that done. American innovation, American market, we have the strong technology guys there. The, the technology is strong. The healthcare sector is strong. S&P 500. If you don't know about S&P 500, I will encourage you through this video to do a research on S&P 500. It has outperformed every other market in the world. Okay, no market performs like S&P 500 that balances growth and risk. Don't forget growth and risk. I'm not saying there are no investment that is doing higher percentage than S&P, but they are also more riskier. They are riskier than S&P 500, and people are losing more money from that. But if you're looking at a market index like top that has performed wonderfully over time with modest risk is top 500 US company. It is easier to invest in the top 500 companies in US than to invest individually in stock. I will talk about that later. Okay, let me just quickly talk about it. Instead, sometimes it's easier to just invest in a basket of these companies, and that's what ETF does. ETFs like VFV, SPY, VO, they provide you access to, let's say, 500 companies, 200 companies based on what the asset is tracking. So rather than buying 20, 30, 40 stocks of companies at the same time, it's easier to just buy an ETF that encompasses these uh, stocks. In that way, you are able to manage your portfolio and then get the best result from your position. Now, when we talk about investing where you live, for example, I am in Canada, and if you're a Canadian, for example, you can invest in Canada to start as a start. If you are new to investing, I will advise you to invest in your country. I invest in Canada in the financial sector because the financial sector is strong, stable banking system. Yeah, the top five banks in Canada are stable. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Okay. Why? They are strong dividend payers. Okay. They provide regular income for wealth builders in Canada. I tell you, you cannot miss it out. Aside the financial sector, we have the energy companies, the Enbridge, the Canadian Natural Resources, the Suncor Oil. Those guys are energy companies and they have been paying dividend consistently for the past 25 years. You know how important energy is to driving industrial operations to drive our everyday living. Don't forget, I talked earlier on, investing is strategic and in companies whose products and services are impacting life daily. Don't invest in companies that you don't know how they make money, how it makes money, or you don't understand its business model. Invest in company you understand its business model and how it impacts everyday life. Okay, so aside financial sector, the energy sector, you could also invest in the real estate sector. There are stocks, there are ETFs that track the real estate sector, and they have done so wonderfully well over the period of years, and you cannot miss it. And most real estate stocks and ETF pay monthly dividends, which makes it even sweeter. All right. So aside Canadian market or aside US market, that means where you live. You can also look outside of where you live. So for me, I look outside of Canada. I look into Asian market because they are emerging market. They are not as developed as US. Okay, they are not as developed as US market, but they are fast growing economies. They are innovating constantly, frequently, and more than before now. Now, another market for opportunity for me as a Canadian is European market. European have stable, established companies. Okay, I think we have Nestle, we have pharmaceutical companies like if I remember Novartis, I think so. Yeah, they have long established companies with global reach. You cannot miss it investing in Europe market. What about Latin America? Just like Asian market, they are emerging market with growing opportunities. Okay, so why are we looking beyond where we are living with the country, the market? For example, looking beyond Toronto Stock Exchange market because I want to diversify my portfolio. The number one strategy aside uh, investing in company that you understand its business model is to understand that global diversification is important in investing. So now let me give you a recap of what I've said so far in this video. As I'm about to close end this video, the inflation is sitting strongly on our finance. If you don't do something about it, you will always be behind. Okay, in your finance, you always try to catch up. People are not catching up on their finance. That's why they take credit card debt. And because they take credit card debt, they are forced to pay at a premium for extra fund they could have gotten if they had invested in the stock market. So it is wise to strategize. Think like a company, act like an individual. Strategize ahead. Have a 10-year roadmap where you can put your money to work for you and the money it brings produces more for you, utilizing the power of compound interest that instead of borrowing money, instead of getting money at an increased at an interest at a significant cost, why not have a 10-year roadmap, okay, to make that money instead, okay, and you can literally transform your finance and be above resting and be able to survive in an environment that is constantly uh challenging people with rising costs. You can live abundantly, you can live comfortably, you can choose to go to work because you no longer rely on the income that's coming from your work, but on your investment. So you can retire before you retire, actually. Yeah. If you like the sound of it, I want you to continue with me. So where do you put your money actually? You can put it in tax-free savings account. In Canada, it's tax-free savings account. In US, I think it's called Roth IRA. Second, you can put it in RRSP. I have a TFSA. I have an RRSP account. RESP account, if you have kids, it's a education savings plan that the government of Canada has made available for parents. Okay. You also have non-registered accounts like IE savings account where your money can also increase. So 10-year wealth plan starts now. Start small. Like I said, you can begin with $200 monthly. Stay consistent with it. You can do an automatic deduction every week from your paycheck directly into your investment. Uh, do your research and do and choose low cost ETF that builds wealth. Okay, stay calm. Whether the stock market dips or the stock market uh, shoot up, be consistently. Dollar cost average is what we call it. Whether in the rain or in the sunshine, keep investing your money. Don't sell your stock because news says there is a ban or there is a tariff or something. Don't follow the noise. Follow your gut instinct. Follow your sound investment knowledge that has worked for people and have made people create wealth over the years. Keep learning. Keep learning. Uh, the platforms below are some of the platforms I use to build my portfolio. Uh, I would encourage you to check those platforms and then make the best decision on how you can start with any of them. So thank you for watching this video. It's been a very long video, I know, but if you watch up to now, that means there's something that you really need to start working on from this video. If you need practical steps on what to do, which stocks to buy, you can post in the comment below. I'll be ready. I'm willing to share one or two insights with you. So thank you for watching this video. Till next time, bye.